So this is going to be a different kind of video. We're gonna get real today. So I like to consider myself a private person. I like to keep my personal information to myself, but a little transparency can be good. So I've been kind of reluctant and hesitant to do a video such as this, more so because, again, I get a little awkward when I talk about my actual personal business or my personal relationships. But I've been getting a lot of questions about how is dating like in medical school. And before I go into talking about how my dating experience was while in medical school, I just want to give you guys a little rundown of what dating is like in medical school. So a lot of people kind of have the fear once they start medical school that they won't have enough time to actually branch out and explore and I guess like look for their mates. A lot of students actually come to medical school and find their true love in medical school, whether it be your actual class, the class below you, the class above you. Regardless, there's a lot of my classmates that actually met their boyfriend, fiance, husband in medical school. So I would say on average about like 70 to 80% of the students, once you start medical school, most of us are single. And this honestly is just what I see. The numbers may be higher or maybe lower, but from my personal experience, it's like around 70 to 80% of people, once they get into medical school, they're single. And a lot of the times people actually have relationships prior to medical school and then they're single. If you're thinking that you're going to go to medical school and it's going to be hard for you to find someone, there are a lot of options for you out there. So a lot of my classmates either found their mate, boyfriend, significant other in medical school or at the school. And then a lot of other classmates kind of use like dating websites or dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, all that stuff. There have been successful relationships out of dating apps, and there have been not so successful relationships out of dating apps. It just honestly depends on what your preference is, whether or not you would want to use a dating app. You will definitely have enough time to explore the city, go out, have fun, trust me. So your options pretty much depend on what the options are like in that city. Please don't feel like because you're in medical school you won't have time to explore, meet new people, and date, because that's definitely a myth. So let's talk about my dating experience while in medical school. So my dating experience is extremely different from the average. I met my boyfriend in Paris. So my first year of medical school, I met someone and I met him in Houston, and I'm from Houston, and the first year of medical school I was driving back and forth to Houston. I guess more so I was still trying to, I guess, get used to not being around my friends. And another reason why is because the previous year I was in Kansas City and I had no contact with my family or anything like that, or physical contact with my family. So coming back to Texas was like so exciting, and so it was like a homecoming for me, and I wanted to go home as much as I could to kind of catch up with all of my friends and family. So that's pretty much what I did every weekend for the first like 5 months of medical school. So we talked for a while, and we honestly stopped talking, in my opinion, pretty much because of miscommunication. One would say that us breaking up or us not talking anymore wasn't really warranted. For me, it was just that there was something missing, and I really didn't know what it was. I just knew that I needed to follow my heart, whatever that means, and I just decided to kind of like move on. So after that, I kind of had like a month or two of just dating. Whoever asked me out on a date, I kind of went. And a lot of the time, sorry fellas, but I was kind of like hungry, and I knew that like I would get fed, so I went on the date. But after a while, I kind of stopped going on dates, more so because, again, like I said, I'm an awkward dater, so I kind of just stopped. And a perfect date for me is Netflix, Stella Rosa, plus or minus Skittles, and just laying in my bed all day. That is perfect for me by myself. Okay, I can do that by myself every day. So I really didn't care too much about going on dates, and plus there was a lot going on in school that needed most of my attention. So during spring break of my first year, I decided to go to Paris with just to hang out with my cousin best friend. We all have one of those. So I headed out there for spring break, and the first night that we were in Paris, we went to this club that was hosting like a Nigerian night, and there were honestly only like 20 people in that club, but you know, you played some Nigerian music and I am lit. That's all I need to have a good time. And there's a guy there that approached me, but I'm always in the mindset, especially whenever I go out to a club, that I'm just like, you know, don't talk to me. I'm kind of like enjoying this time with the music and my friend. So afterwards, a lot of us, half the club, decided to go get breakfast because it was like 5 a.m. at this time. And so we went to go get breakfast, and the guy that approached me came along too. However, he was pretty quiet, kind of disengaged a little bit, and I'm the type of person, I like to engage people, so I kept on bugging him just to get him to talk, nothing more, just that. And so we ended up sitting next to each other at the restaurant, and all I can remember is that he was hella funny. Like, he was really hilarious, and I love a good laugh. And so towards the end of the morning, I put my information, or I followed myself on Snapchat on his phone, just because I was like, hey, you're funny, I'll keep up with you. And so then a little bit later on, like, me and my friends, we left, and I was just like, all right, deuces, probably won't ever see you again, but I'm okay with it, you know? So fast forward to, I guess, like 2.5 weeks after Paris, I'm back at school, I'm studying, I'm back in my grind, like, I am focused. And then I get a message on Snapchat, and I'm thinking to myself, like, who is this? And he reminded me of who he was, and I was just like, oh, this is the French Nigerian man. And so I just remember that he was really funny, so I didn't mind messaging him back and forth on Snapchat. It wasn't really taking up any of my time. But as the days went on, I noticed that I was like checking my Snapchat to see if he had like messaged me or anything like that. And then finally he asked for my number, and of course I gave it to him because, again, he was funny. Still, I didn't really think much of it. And so after I gave him my number, he started FaceTiming me literally every single day. And we pretty much talked every day. And after talking every day, I kind of grew attached, you can say. And boom, now we're here 2.5 years later, and I'm still talking to the same guy. And I can definitely say that I am happy. And like, he's really my best friend. And I would have never thought in a million years that I would be a person that would do long distance. And if I haven't mentioned, he's from Nigeria. He was in Paris for business for a month. So that's why he was there, but he's from Nigeria. And yeah, so we do long distance, and it's not your average city to city, state to state long distance. It's your country to country, cross oceans. So that's a difficult part about a long distance relationship. But I feel like with long distance relationships, it pretty much tests your maturity, your commitment, and pretty much the trust within the relationship. And I feel like I've grown a lot because of this long distance. Granted, if I had the choice between long distance and accessibility, I would definitely choose the latter, but given the circumstances that we're in, I definitely see the positivity in it, and I'm definitely optimistic about it as well. Although, you know, the long distance and the time difference is extensive, like 6 hours difference. Whenever I need him, he is there. Like, there have been times, like at 3 a.m. his time, where I'm like stressing out. Like, something about school has stressed me out. I can call him and he will pick up. So he's literally there for me 24/7, regardless of how early in the morning it is. He picks up and he's there for me. And I think that's one of the things that I really, really, really appreciate about him the most. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much my dating experience in medical school. Please, by all means, don't think that you need to find someone that's across the ocean, or that's your only option, because it definitely isn't. I mean, I've definitely had options here in America, but like I said, there was something missing with all of the other guys that I was always dating, and with him, that missing piece was like there, and I knew I didn't want to risk losing it. So yeah, I took a chance. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down if you want to like gist about things, I guess. And don't forget to follow me on White Coats and Stilettos on Instagram to keep up with your girl. Peace.